What is going on, everybody? WeedleTwineedle here, and we are back again with another Sun and Moon Wi-Fi battle, and this one's going to be against Madara. Now, I battle my opponent off my Discord server, so if you guys are interested in a Sun and Moon Wi-Fi battle and trade community chat room and a place to hang out and find Wi-Fi battles and all that fun stuff, feel free to check out my Discord. A link will be in the description. Now, me and Madara are having an NU Alpha tier battle again, as I'm probably going to stick with RU until NU officially comes out, because this tier is actually ridiculous. My opponent's team is stacked once again, featuring Mega and Kingdra, as I'm using a rather fun team with Camerupt and Alolan Exeguttor and a Slurpuff Lantern, but we're just going to hop right into the battle. I'm not going to get too into team preview, because the only thing I really thought was that my opponent was going to either lead Steelix or Rotomo, so I decided to lead off with my Krakatoa, as he does end up leading with Steelix, like my last opponent did actually. I guess people are just so thirsty for them Stealth Rocks, I don't know why. But my opponent thinks I'm going to lay up the Stealth Rocks, which is a fair enough assumption, because he does have a Mega, right? So he brings in this Xatu, but I did anticipate that, because I thought Stealth Rocks are fairly obvious. I mean, like, no one uses regular Camerupt, but like, I still thought Stealth Rocks were obvious, and my opponent does decide to pivot into the Xatu just in case. So I'm able to get the nice Lava Plume burn to punish Xatu switch in, as now he's going to go for Psychic, not even do half of my health, because I have max Death, max HP Camerupt. I can take a couple of those, as Lava Plume should be able to knock this thing out after the burn plus Life Orb damage. So down goes the Xatu, thankfully, and we're able to get rid of that threat pretty much turn 2, which is pretty nice, which means that my Camerupt can lay up the Stealth Rocks when I get the opportunity to, but that opportunity is not going to be now, as my opponent is going to bring in the legit shiny Beast Ball Kingdra. Of course, I do have a legit shiny Beast Ball Como, so maybe this is a legitimate Pokemon. I'm not too sure, but my opponent is going to click Substitute, which kind of made me shut myself a little bit, because Sub Kingdra is a very threatening Pokemon in this tier. I can only imagine. I'm like, oh god, he has Substitute. I guess it's just GG. I mean, I figured he was probably Sub Dragon Dance, or maybe like Sub Focus Energy, I have no idea, but he does reveal the Dragon Dance, so that is threatening, but at least I do carry Intimidate on my Hitmontop to deal with it. All I have to do is break this thing Substitute. I did decide to sack off my Camerupt just on the off chance my opponent wanted to set up on me, because I guess he thought I wanted to preserve my Camerupt, because I'm like, no, this Kingdra is way too threatening to try and preserve this Camerupt. Even though it does do very well against Mega and Rotomo, it is not worth saving. As long as this Kingdra sub is gone, it is not worth saving. So I'm actually going to choose to save it now, expecting my opponent to not go for Substitute and go for Waterfall this time. So I'm going to bring in my Hitmontop here to get the Intimidate, just to lower this thing's attack slightly, as now my opponent is going to click the Waterfall, and yeah, do a pretty big chunk to my Hitmontop. He must be like adamant max attack, because I am max defense, max HP, impish, so that's a thing. But now, I kind of make a misplay here. I was going to decide to pivot into my Slurpuff, expecting the Dragon move, but I'm like, I can probably take an Outrage and just go for the close combat, that's no big deal. But my opponent actually ends up carrying the Dragon Z move, and if I just switched into Slurpuff, I would have been able to completely nullify my opponent's Z move, which would have been very funny and made me look like an incredible player, but unfortunately, my Hitmontop has to take a devastating Drake, and from that incredible base power and stab, Hitmontop is not going to be able to take that, even with the Intimidate, so rather unfortunate. But Hitmontop's Devi battle was not the greatest, but I'm sure I'll be using it more in the future, because I just wanted to breed more reliable rapid spinners to use in the NU or lower tiers in general. So if you do hear my bird in the background, it's because he's very jealous that I'm talking to you guys instead of him, so he's going to start screaming my name, because he does realize that I'm talking to you and not him. So if you do hear him in the background, I do apologize ahead of time, but I'm too lazy to re-narrate this. So this is my third attempt narrating this, so because of him actually, so I'm just trying really hard not to lose my patience, but it is not working. So now my opponent is going to lay up the Stealth Rocks, expecting my switch out, which is a very nice play, but now I can just bring in my Camerupt and threaten this thing out. I already laid up my Stealth Rock, so I'm pretty much just free to click Lava Plume from here on out. And my opponent can't really knock me out with Earthquake, because I do carry the Solid Rock, which makes me take less damage from super effective attacks. So my opponent is going to be forced out of here, and he's actually going to bring in this Hariyama. I was more expecting the Kingdra to switch in, because that thing quad resists Lava Plume, but my opponent was probably just fishing for the status, because he likely guts Hariyama, or he might be just thick fat. I actually have no idea, but I'm going to go for the Toxic anyway, just because either way it'll do more damage in the long run to Kingdra, and it means I can't substitute off without being punished by the poison damage. And if he brings in Assault Vest Hariyama, which pretty much every Assault Vest, or pretty much every Hariyama is Assault Vest, I just figured it was my best play. So toxicing the Hariyama in exchange of giving it Guts is honestly a worthwhile trade for me. That means that I can whittle it down a lot easier, because Assault Vest Hariyama is actually extremely hard to knock out without like a very hard physical attack, or just a really strong like psychic type attack, it's actually really difficult to whittle down. So the toxic and the earth power chip damage I got up there is definitely going to help me lower this thing's health in exchange for my Krakatoa's life. I don't have the best check to Yanmega now, so the Yanmega is looking pretty damn threatening, but the Stealth Rocks are up on the field, so it's guaranteed to take half damage, so I figured it was safe to just sack off my camera up there, as now I'm going to bring in my Oricorio here and go for the Hurricane, and it's actually the same Oricorio that I used in my double battle dance video thing that I made about a month ago, but it changed its moveset a little bit. I got rid of Tailwind for Calm Mind, and I got rid of Protect for something else. I can't remember. I think it was for Roost. I'm not even too sure, but now I'm going to decide to switch out because I don't want to stay in on the Rotom Mow. He's probably Choice Scarf like every Rotom is, so I'm going to bring in my Lantern here expecting the T-Ball, as thankfully we were able to get that play correctly. I was going to stay in and go for my Flying Z move, but I didn't want to risk him just being like, timid specs and knocking me out or whatever, so I decided to just bring in Lantern as the play works out for me, as now my opponent is going to bring in his Kingdra, as I decided to click Scald this time, mainly because I wanted to punish something with a burn that switched in. I was going to click Volt Switch, but I'm like, I think he may have had a ground type, which may be why I didn't go for Volt Switch. But I'm not too sure. But now my opponent is going to click Dragon Dance here, thinking that he can actually set up on me, which is a fair enough assumption because he actually can. So I'm just going to choose to Volt Switch out of here onto the Kingdra, and almost knock out the Kingdra, but not quite because Kingdra has very nice base defenses uninvested, unfortunately. But now I'm able to bring in my Slurpuff here, and I do carry Cotton Guard, so I should be able to tank a Waterfall with relative ease, as my opponent is just going to go for the Waterfall, and thankfully we're able to tank that relatively well and get the Citrus Berry going. And this is why I run Citrus Berry over Agua for Wiki Berry on my Slurpuff, because it always gets knocked down with like 40 to 50% health instead of like 25%, so it just, the Unburden never activates and I get screwed over. As much as I'd want to run that berry, I feel like Citrus is better on a set like this. But we're actually able to outspeed the Kingdra after the Unburden, which is why I did click Cotton Guard, because I thought that Kingdra would outspeed me, but I actually had to outspeed it, so I was better off definitely clicking Calm Mind there instead of the Cotton Guard, but there was no way I could have known that because I know Slurpuff speed set isn't the highest, and I don't know, Dragon Dance, I figured Kingdra would be a little bit faster than that, but I'm just too used to facing Kingdra in the rain, honestly. But yeah, I don't knock out the Steelix with the Flamethrower, as now my opponent's actually going to roar me out into my Alolan Exeggutor, which is pretty funny. I love how Alolan Exeggutor's neck and like its head are just, you can only see its neck and the sprite, which is, I just find it absolutely hilarious. I think it's just so great. I don't know why I find it so great, I love it. But now my opponent is just going to click the Toxic just to get some chip damage off on my Alolan Exeggutor. I can completely understand that. He doesn't want to risk me being some Harvest annoying set. But unfortunately for him, I'm actually an offensive Trick Room set. And I really thought that offensive Trick Room Exeggutor was definitely not the best. But then I realized he got Flamethrower, and I'm like, damn, okay, this thing gets like Grass Fire coverage. That's pretty damn good by itself without Hidden Power. And also gets Dragon. Like, that's really damn good. So I'm like, I may as well just use this set. I'm pretty sure people have used Trick Room Exeggutor before, but I really wanted to try it out in the lower tiers, or in just NU Alpha overall. But I should be able to clean up this game here, because all my opponent has left is Yanmega, and unless he carries Protect for the speed boost set, I mean, he could stall me on a Trick Room, but I still have my SLFS Lantern to clean up the Yanmega, and Rotom should be able, or should be 1v1 easily by this thing. If he carries Hidden Power Ice, I still have Trick Room up, so I can't really bring it in anyway. So my opponent is going to decide to bring in the Rotom, probably because he carries Hidden Power Ice. That's my only assumption here, as I'm hoping that Flamethrower can just knock this thing out after the Stealth Rock damage. So we're going to go for Flamethrower, and Rotom is just going to drop to the Flamethrower, and Yanmega will as well. So Alolan Exeggutor getting this late game cleanup, which is pretty cool. I wanted to use more of a like Trick Room team on this in NU, but I figured let's just start small out and use like one singular Trick Room setter, just like set up Trick Room for yourself so you can do some late game sweeping. That's what this Exeggutor set is based around. Is now I'm going to drop a Draco, because why not? I want to see the animation, and I'm going to go for the Draco Meteor and just knock out this Yanmega. Yanmega actually didn't get to see any screen time in this battle, which is pretty funny. I'm surprised my opponent did not bring it out earlier on in the battle, but you know, down goes the Yanmega, and we're able to beat Madara with a 3-0 victory. So it was a pretty fun battle. Madara, I had a lot of fun. A lot more fun than the last NU battle that I posted, because there was Necrozma in it. But it was still a pretty good game nonetheless, and I hope you guys did enjoy that Wi-Fi battle. If you guys did enjoy the battle and want to support my channel, please be sure to hit the thumbs up button, as it's the best way to support my YouTube channel and help it grow. So definitely give me some love. And yeah, the question of the day is going to be, what is your favorite Mega Evolution? Let me know in the comments down below. Now my favorite Mega Evolution has got to be either Mega Camerupt or Mega Gardevoir. They are both like Mega Evolutions that I'm in love with. Not by like because they're strong, but just by the design alone, I think they're really cool. Mega Camerupt especially looks really sick, and I'm looking forward to that Pokemon being released, as it's actually extremely fun to use in the lower tiers as well. And a Mega Gardevoir just looks awesome. Its shiny form looks like it's wearing like a freaking funeral dress after it like freaking hyper voices you a new butthole, and I just absolutely love I love Gardevoir, Mega Gardevoir, and Mega Camerupt. So yeah, let me know in the comments below what your favorite Mega Evolution is, and yeah, I'll check you guys in my next video. Alright, peace.